Come on, come on. Liverpool have just beaten Arsenal 2-0 in the Emirates Stadium. Joining me to chew the fat and have a little chat about the game is none other than the lovely Adam Smith. Adam, listen, welcome, mate. Thank you for joining me. What are your first thoughts? Just emotions. Just give me how you feel about that result.
uh, Relief is the obvious first emotion because I think that it had the potential to be a banana skin, that, and I think the first half Arsenal. Look, I think we'll watch back that game in the cold light of day and feel like Arsenal never really threatened in the first half, but it didn't feel like that watching it live. It felt like they were very much a big part of the game, causing us lots of problems. We just weren't at the races at all. And it felt like one of those games that might just, end in a horrible 1-0 to them or something like that. But we came out a different beast in the second half and really just showed the difference in class between the two teams. We showed why we're where we are and they're where they are. And really now have put the pressure on Manchester City and put ourselves in a position where we can be 2 points ahead of them by the time they next kick off in a game of football, which is exactly what we wanted from tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I think now that the game's gone and I can take my emotions out of it, all I'm so emotional when I watch the game. I think, yeah, I think if I look back on it, and if I'm honest with myself, there were times that first half where we weren't playing well, but I was watching them and they were getting a lot of praise from Gary Neville and they were getting a lot of praise from Martin Tyler. But I was thinking these aren't really that great. They're not scaring me. We just got like we're handling most of it. And at some stage we'll kick in, and it kind of worked like that. That first half's a write off, really, for me. Don't really want to talk about it, but is that how you saw the game?
Yeah, I think that's a really good shout. I actually use the wonders of technology to listen to Five Live rather than Gary Neville and Martin Tyler because I just can't. I just can't do it. But I have to say it wasn't that much better. Is Conor McNamara and Jonathan Woodgate, and Jonathan Woodgate was obsessed with Trent defending poorly. He was constantly saying he's not good enough at the back. He's not blah blah blah. But I think Martinelli was a bit of a personification of that Arsenal performance in that it was all bluster and no end product. And
Yeah.
that was what we kind of witnessed. Was it played out, and I was just going, yeah, he's really skillful. He's fast. He's good on the ball. But what's coming after that? And the answer was nothing, which was really really nice to see. And it did, yeah. As I say, I think when you take the emotion out of it, like you've just said, I think Arsenal never really looked like scoring in the first half. And in fact, they only really looked like scoring when Thiago played them a gorgeous through ball.
Funnily enough, Thiago was one of the main culprits in the first half. I mean, I didn't feel like he was having a great game. I mean, I'm going to do one of those sweeping generalizations after I've just seen basically recency syndrome. I've just watched the game, and this is the truth because I've just watched the game, and that's the most precious thing. But Thiago doesn't always come back from an injury straight away. He takes a
Mm,
while to get himself back into and I'm sure that there's games where he's played well straight after an injury. But I've just seen a game and he didn't play that well apart from the ball. So, that's completely in the front of my mind. I mean, let's forget that first half because I was trying to figure out what was going on. They were pinning the full back. Our lads couldn't get forward. I think there were a lot of our own problems were created by we couldn't play the pass before the pass.
mm.
Sometimes you say they can't play the final pass. We couldn't play the pass before the pass, so we were just
Yeah,
getting hemmed in.
I think Liverpool like to sort of dominate games, and they like time on the ball, and they like to be able to look at the passes. And Arsenal, they really reminded me of Inter Milan in that they were everywhere in that first half. They were running all around. They were constantly closing us down, not giving us a second on the ball, and that just meant that there were a few sort of panicked passes and a few daft passes. And I think, unlike Inter Milan, Arsenal didn't have the legs to carry it on, and I think you saw that in the second. It was almost like the second, the half time took the steam out of them, Really just took everything out of them, and then they just couldn't get back up to speed in the second half. Combined with, I think, Jurgen Klopp giving us a bit of a rocket, just meant that we were finding passes much more crisply. We were happy to do things at a faster pace, and we were just a better team. And I think that one of the big things that match shows you is the importance of spending money where it counts at the back, because you've got Alisson does that unbelievable save to keep us in the game. And then Ramsdale should do better for the Jota goal. He's beaten at his near post. I used to, you and I will have had many a chat over the year about Simon Mignolet getting beaten at his near post again and again and again. And Ramsdale he's done the same thing tonight. And I think you probably ask questions of Arsenal's defence as well about our second. For Bobby Firmino to just tap it in like that from where he is underneath the goalkeeper again.
There's two counter pressing situations there. So just before the goal, Robbo counter presses and wins the ball, doesn't he? And then goes clear through, and there's that gaping hole at the back. And prior to that, there was a counter pressing situation where I'm trying to remember whether it was Trent, Hendo, or no, it was Bobby. Bobby himself set that up. He had the first counter press. We won the ball, plays the ball across. Mo has some sort of shot, and then it comes out to Robbo. I mean, that's what we're all about. I mean, I would look at that game actually and say that we played 7 minutes of really good football.
Yeah. And I think, look, the manager can say what he wants about taking one game at a time, and he's not thinking any further ahead and blah, blah, blah. If you think that this manager and this team don't want to win that quadruple, and I don't think they will, because I think it's too much. I think we've seen, Manchester City have got £1 billion squad and they can't do it. So, I think it will be there'll be one step too far in one competition at least that will stop us from doing it. But they want to do that. And but the way you do it is not by playing full throttle for 90 minutes. We've seen Arsenal there try to play full throttle for more than 45 and they couldn't manage it. What it's about playing the game as it's in front of you. And what Liverpool did was they kind of let Arsenal blow themselves out, turned it on when they needed to turn it on, and then went, right, we're 2-0 up and you're not scoring against us, so we'll just see out the next 20 plus minutes now. And that's exactly what you need from a team that's trying to fight on several fronts, is not to waste energy chasing around a bunch of scruffs.
Completely. With that comment, Norman always comes on and comments when we go live. That good to see Norman, great win. And he was just agreeing with the Thiago thing. Felt like the game was a little bit too fast for him in the first half. The substitutions change the game, don't they, mate? I don't know whether they were pre-arranged. Possibly not, because I thought if it was pre-arranged, Thiago would have come off when I saw the two lads on the line. He's only just come back from injury. What do you think that substitution gave us?
I think what it does loads of stuff, to be honest, because I think it says to the lads on the pitch, you've scored a goal, great work. Now we're bringing on these lads so we can ease the pressure that a little bit more for you. These are quality. But it also says to Arsenal, yeah, you've done all right there, but look who's coming on. The fella who always scores against you and the world's best player. And that, when you're already 1-0 down and then you see that's going on, it's like, oh, come on, that's not fair. That's cheating, And I think it was almost, it showed, I think, as well, that just the difference in levels. And look, Arsenal are maybe 4 years away from the players that they've got there today maturing to the point that they're hitting the peak. We've got our lads at their peak right now. And that's the difference. So you've got Smith Rowe coming on for them, who's their highest scorer, by the way. So we've left our highest scorer on the bench. They've left their highest scorer on the bench. But our highest scorer is Mohamed Salah. Yours is Emile Smith Rowe. Yours has scored 6 or whatever it is. Ours has scored 24 or something. So it's levels, and like people say that often on social media and stuff, don't they? All levels when a player does something. But that really is a demonstration of the difference in levels between the two teams.
Well, I wanted to mention Steve. Joel Matip's defending was brilliant at times tonight. Block, just interceptions, headers. It was the full range, wasn't it?
Hey, look, he's an absolutely class defender, and I saw a thing before about pound for pound who's the best Premier League signing, and I honestly think Joel Matip might be up there because he was a free transfer. So you're already good. But he's just won Player of the Month for February, the Premier League. And now he's putting in the same level performances. It's easy, I suppose, to be a little bit more carefree when you've got Virgil van Dijk next year, because I tell you, one thing the Five Live commentary to keep pointing out was any time Arsenal came forward after we were 2-0 up, it's just who's cleared it? It's Virgil van Dijk. Who's got the block in? It's Virgil van
block. Pardon. It happened the other day. He falls on a very unfortunate picture of himself. Just having a look through the comments. My dad has commented, good to see Dad. What second half performance from the Reds? It really was. Norman's just bounced in again. 2019, Matip had great second half of the season. Obviously injury free. Yeah, hopefully, mate. Hopefully, let's see if we can get. Let's see if we can get him back. Adam. Just bear me a second, guys. Hopefully, we can back in. Any other comments from people watching? It's just great that we've won. Obviously, that was a big game for us today. That, and it was a must win. I mean, every game is a must win. I always put my little Instagram post up and say, before the game with a picture of Klopp on it. Yeah, I've been saying it must win for about 6 months. But it definitely is now, and especially with City slipping up the other day. I kind of half saw that coming, but I didn't see the Tottenham one coming. I certainly didn't see the Southampton draw either. So, it's good news, and it makes it interesting. And we've kept them honest all the way through. It's a great Anfield rap phrase, which I love. Let's keep them honest, and we certainly have done that. And as a result, we've managed to claw back what was something like a 13-point gap at one point. And when you consider the lads went away to AFCON, and everyone thought, well, they're not going to be able to cope with those guys going to AFCON. We more than coped, and then we've come stronger. Funnily enough, I don't think Mo's form since AFCON has been that great. So I wouldn't say we're carrying him because he's still scored a couple, but I think they've been pens, haven't they? He hasn't scored a goal from Melton Place for a little while. So hopefully, I mean, I'm assuming that will get sorted at some stage. He's too good a player. At some stage, he'll blam one in from wherever, and it'll all be good. Doesn't look like I'm going to get Adam back here, so I'll probably. Oh, here we go. No, there he is. I was just about to bin the stream because I thought I'd lost you.
Sorry, mate. I think my internet just went for some reason. I'm on my phone now. Should be fine.
I was basically just talking to myself, and what I came up with was, I think there's a brilliant Anfield rap phrase that always gets used, and it's, we need to keep Man City honest. And we've done that from January. No one thought we could, with the 2 lads going to AFCON, 3 lads going to AFCON. And we managed to win those games. And then since then, we've just carried on and on and on. We've kept them honest, and we've waited for them to scruff up, and that's exactly what's happened on it.
Yeah, and let me be absolutely honest. I'm one of the people who didn't think we could, because I did think that City had dropped points, but I didn't think that we'd be basically perfect, which is what we needed to be. And to see us kind of just roll on and on and on and say to City, if you want this title, you're going to have to be perfect because we're going to be right on your tails. And that's what. And look, City might well still win the title, and they should. But Manchester City should win every single trophy that they enter every single year, because Pep Guardiola has spent more money than any other manager in the world. He is a brilliant manager in and of himself, and they are buying the title. Let's be perfectly honest about it, right? So they should win every trophy they're in. And if they win the title this season, that's no shame on Liverpool. But what we can do is we can say to them, if you want to win it, you're going to be perfect because we're barely going to put a foot wrong. That's the only thing we can do, right? And we could go to the Etihad and lose 2, 3, 4-0 because they've done it to us before. But with this Liverpool team, it's one of a gang of lads who say, we're going to keep you honest. Exactly like you've just said. We're going to keep you honest, which is for that particular football club, something of a unique proposition, I think, being honest.
Another couple of comments. Matthias, terrible first half, but very good second half. I think we'd all agree with that, Norman. Thanks for praising the merchandise. Just before we go, mate, standout performance for you, who would you give man of the match to?
It's a good question. And maybe the goalkeeper, which is a bit of a cop-out answer, I think. But his save kept us in it. Make no mistake, that save was massive. So that was a massive help for us to do that. But also, he was just on it the whole time. The balls he was throwing out to Robertson, and also, I just don't think anybody else was really on the top of the game. I think Trent could barely find a pass in the first half, but he wasn't alone in that. Whereas the goalkeeper was he's just such a colossus, isn't he? Yeah, and he's such he's a thing that just says to the Arsenal lads, okay, every now and again you might get past Van Dijk and Matip, but you're not getting past that fella. He was brilliant, I thought.
Matthias is just said Robbo would be his man on the match.
Fair, that's a fair shout.
A fair shout. Personally, I honestly, if I had to choose, would be Firmino because I thought he come on, he scored a goal, and I thought what he gave us was some calmness up front. Everything just sort of chilled out. He played the game at his own pace, held the ball up, won a few balls as well, like he always does with his counter presses. I thought his performance was exactly what we needed when he came on. Mate, thank you very, very much for your time. You're a superstar.
You're welcome.
And hopefully I will see you again soon. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the follow button on Twitter and Facebook. And we'll see you again. Adam, thanks very much, mate. Cheers.